Beefy.
From the depths of the internet, a podcast did arise. A trio of loons with cigars in their eyes. They've invaded the world with their smoky surprise. The Cigar Loons, they're oh so wise. Lunatic invaders of the cigar world, spreading smoke and laughter, their stories unfold. From the finest blends to the wildest tales, the Cigar Loons never fail to prevail. With their witty banter and infectious glee, they've captured hearts, you see. They're more than just smokers, they're a family, united by cigars, a brotherhood free. Invaders of the cigar world, spreading smoke and laughter, their stories unfold. From the finest blends to the wildest tales, the Cigar Loons never fail to prevail. They've got the knowledge, the passion, the flair, a podcast powerhouse beyond compare. So light up a stogie and join the affair. The Cigar Loons are always there. Lunatic invaders of the cigar world, spreading smoke and laughter, their stories unfold. From the finest blends to the wildest tales, the Cigar Loons never fail to prevail.
Who writes your music?
Me.
Oh, did you? Is
I
that you
write the
singing? Were you singing
Nope.
too?
Oh,
No,
please no.
That's me. That's me.
No.
That's the music.
No.
It is.
Can I get a copy of the video and the music? That was amazing.
Yeah, I can send it to you.
I've
by all
never
means.
looked so good. Holy cow!
Love it.
Well, yeah. Of
I don't know
course.
where to go
Hello.
from there. Everything's going to go down from there. There's no way to top that for the. Just play that again.
He plays it on the way out at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, you get to hear it on the way out, so you
Gotcha.
yeah.
But yeah, hello and good evening, and welcome everybody, of course, to
Yeah.
the Cigar Loons podcast, live from England and, of course, the United States. And our guest tonight, of course, is Mike Palmer from Powstanie Cigars. And
Who's
Mike, of
apparently
course,
very cool. I'm sorry. I'll let you talk now.
Welcome, Mike. and
Thank you.
of
Thank you
course-
very much. Thank you for the video and go put on MTV or something.
Well, yeah. So of course we've got DEA. He's just popped in, and DEA says hello.
What's up,
everyone.
DEA?
So DEA, and hello
What's
to
up,
everybody,
brother?
of course, on Instagram and on Rumble. But yeah, tonight we're going to be talking, of course, about Powstanie cigars, and we're going to be talking to Mike about the cigars, the brand, and getting to know more about Powstanie. And of course, Kate, I'm going to go around the table on what everyone's smoking. So, of course, Kate, what are you smoking tonight from Powstanie, my bro? What cigar are you smoking?
I'm smoking their Connecticut. Just got it started here. So far, it's starting off great. I absolutely love it so far.
Yep. Grumpy?
Not your everyday Connecticut.
That's right.
Told you.
That's what I felt too.
Yep. Oh, if you said me, I've got the San Andreas tonight.
And of course, we'll go down to Matthew. And Matthew, what have you got tonight,
Yep.
brother?
I've got the Bono tonight.
Yeah, cool.
So far, so
So
good.
of co-
You know,
yeah. So of course we've got
half-inch hand.
we've got the 3 different cigars, and thank you, Mike, of course, for sending out the guys the cigars
Yeah.
to smoke on the
You're
podcast
welcome.
tonight.
Appreciate it.
And
You're welcome.
Thanks,
So-
sir.
of course, Mike, what are you smoking tonight? What have you got lit, my brother?
Currently, I've got a Habano Segundo burning here, but I do have a San Andreas on deck here just in case I get that far.
There you go.
You know something? Ever since I looked and, of course, started following him when we started talking, Powstanie is really blowing up all over Instagram and blowing up over Facebook with the group and everything that, of course, you've got. And a lot of people are smoking them, and a lot of people are really enjoying the brand.
you.
And you know something? What really caught my eye with any cigar is band, and the band alone stood out to me when I
Yeah.
saw, of course, the red and the black, the Powstanie sign in the middle. I was like, "Well, that's eye-catching. That's something different that you don't see." And I think that's one of the things, and also, of course, then learning about yourself, and of course, watching the podcast that, of course, you co-host, which is, of course, is a Cigar Hustlers podcast,
Thank you.
and seeing you there, and people getting to know you from there, and knowing about the cigars. But of course, when did you really start getting into cigars, Mike? And then, of course, going to where you wanted to then go, and now being, of course, the national sales manager of Powstanie. So how
Well-
did it all start, and how did it all come about?
I started smoking cigars when I was 18 years old. It was just sort of a little side hobby thing. My current wife, I've been married 3 times, yeah. Apparently, I'm not good at it, but she does have the current record. So she got a trophy when she beat 10 years. That was my record beforehand. So I gave her a little trophy for her anniversary that year.
Hey,
Like, congratulations, you're the winner. She's like, yeah, great.
that's kind of like my club right there now. About every 10 years.
There you
Oh,
go.
boy.
Well, first one was 5, second one was 10, and now we're at 12. So if she makes it to 25 or 20, then I'll be a success. I guess it's something finally.
Well, 10 was my record till I got to this one. She's doubled it. So
Oh, good for you.
yeah, we're celebrating 25 Monday. So
Oh, congratulations.
There you go.
So anyway, she bought me my first humidor. When I met her, she lived in Missouri and I lived in Florida, and I used to go back and forth a week here and a week there. And eventually, she moved to Florida after we got married, and she's in education, so she got a job in Florida, and she moved down here. Thank goodness. Back then, I worked. I set up factories in China for U.S. companies, so there was a lot of emails and stuff in the morning, and then emails again in the afternoon. So during the day, I was not doing a lot. So I was smoking cigars at home and stuff. And then when she would come home from work, I wanted to talk to somebody. I was dying for conversation, talk to somebody. So I was like, look at the new socks I got. Look, I taught the dog a trick. You want to see what I had for lunch? I left it on the table, stuff like that. She's like, you've got to find a hobby. You've got to find something to do. You're driving me crazy. So I started a cigar club on Facebook, and thank goodness it sort of took off. And that's how I met Mike and Greg, who own Powstanie Cigars. They also own a local cigar shop, and I started hanging out there, and that's how I got to know them. So that goes back about 11 years. I've done social media for them. Last year I was their social media director or manager, whatever you want to call it. And it got to the point, like you said, they became popular more than they were, and they needed to bring somebody on to do sales. Mikey, the 2 brothers, Mikey and Greg, Mikey does all the sales and marketing, and Greg does all the money and the books and stuff. And that works out well for them. But they needed a third guy to help out with the sales and marketing. They had just gotten too busy.
Yep.
So they interviewed a couple of brokers. They interviewed a couple of salesmen. And, since they are brothers, it's a very family-oriented type company. They needed somebody, in their words, we need somebody who's like us. We need somebody we can trust. We need somebody who's going to be vested in our company, somebody who understands what we're trying to do. and we were all sitting in the lounge, and Matt Booth happened to be visiting. He's a friend of Mikey's, and he sort of turned and looked at me, and they went, "Have you asked Palmer if he wants to do it?" None of us ever thought of that. My Chinese business had started slowing down, so it was at the point where I really needed to find something else to do because of COVID and all that kind of stuff. Oh, and now with the tariffs, thank goodness I got out of that. 185%.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah, 185% markup on anything is really hard to get somebody to swallow that. So me and Mikey worked it out pretty quick. I mean, he's my best friend, and we hang out together all the time. So that was sort of an easy thing. He just said, "Well, do you want to?" And I went, "Sure, why not? That sounds like fun." Greg actually had to interview me. I know Greg really well too, but he's a little more strict, I guess, of the rules. And I actually had to schedule an interview and sit down, and he interviewed me, and he was more concerned where if I wanted to do it because of the travel and because I'd be away from my wife, and that type of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but he did about 4 months in. He said, "I didn't think you were going to be able to do it," and I went, "Oh, thank you very much." He goes, "But I was completely wrong." I was like, "Oh, well, thank goodness for that then." He goes, "You've exceeded where I thought you would be at this point." I'm like, "Well, thank you very much." So it's just been uphill from there. I mean, we just had an amazing PCA. We were very popular, even though our booth was way, way in the back. So
Yeah.
things are going well. It worked out well for us.
I saw the picture of where you were, and I was like, wow, they've really done you dirty with where they put you.
Well,
That was how I felt.
You pick where you're going to be, and we're always next to Roma Craft because they make our cigars. So it's kind of a family thing. But this year, they moved us further away. They created another aisle that wasn't there when we reserved the spot. And then they plopped Jake Wyatt down in front of us, which is a great company, but they had a huge wall. So you could not see us from the main aisle.
Oh, man.
Jeez. That's
But-
bad.
The only person that couldn't find us was Eric Espinoza. He was on the phone talking to Mikey to come say hello. And, him, he's just walking around like he's lost, going, "I can't find you. Where are you at? We're by, I'm standing in front of Jake Wyatt. Where are you, bro?" We're like, "Turn left. We see you. Turn left." He's like, "I don't see you." So I had to walk over and get him. But he's the only person who really couldn't find us.
Classic.
So, of course, it sounds like there then, of course, with you already knowing the two owners of Powstanie and then having your interview, you've got that friendship, you've got that build-up. You know pretty much then, right, this is what they want to do. You know then where it was going. How was your first week on the job, getting into Powstanie, of course, starting? How was that first week? Was it slow baby steps, or was it let's run and let's go? And like you've been doing ever since, of course, really pushing and going, or was it the baby steps when you very first started?
We started out slow because I tried being a broker years ago, and it was just a fiasco. It was a terrible experience. I didn't like it. I did it for about 6 months, and I had brands that were smaller, even in Powstanie. So it's really hard to walk into a shop and sell a cigar that somebody hasn't heard of before.
Yeah.
I mean, it's close to impossible. I mean, there's hundreds of them in there. You walk in and go, "I'm with so-and-so," and they're like, "Well, I've never heard of that before." So at least with Powstanie, a lot of people have heard of it. And, you can always say we're made at the same factory as Roma Craft. And that opens doors for you a little bit too. Mikey's got a certain way that he wants the sales to be done, which is fine. It's his company. So there was some education, on his part. Since he had been doing it, like, "Oh, look, this works for me." I was like, "Okay, well, I can do that, but I might, put my own spin on it because that might not work for me, but I understand what you want me to do," that type of stuff. So, and I've got friends that are salesmen, and, it's nice to be able to pick up the phone and call somebody and go, "Look, I'm going to this area. What are the shops I need to hit?" And they're all very friendly. It's a great little network of information. Nobody's ever go, "Well, I'm not going to tell you because then they won't buy my cigars." Nobody does that in the industry, at least not in the circle that I run into. So that helps a lot. So you don't waste time in the shops that either one aren't buying or two are a hard sell, something like that. So.
Yeah, and that's good. There's, of course, you can ring them people and talk to them and say to them, "Look, which shop should I be eating?" And they'll go, "Oh, you want to go here?" Mr. Dick's down there. You want to go with this one, or you want to go with that
Right,
one,
you know,
and that's
I'm going to be in Fort Lauderdale. Who do I hit? Okay, here's the 5 you should go to.
yeah, and that's the thing.
Check that out.
I say one thing: if you do go Fort Lauderdale, I'd definitely go see Alvaro. It's Ash and Vine, and
Oh, I've heard of that.
no doubt, yeah, Alvaro's a good friend of ours, and
Oh.
he's got a lot of vintage stock, and I
Yeah.
mean cigars that are really out there to the point they're not even in production no more, and we've had them, and it's like wow. But yeah, definitely get on there. So of course, I'm gonna give it a little bit of a break, man, and I'm gonna then hand it over to the brothers so they can start
Okay.
asking some questions and everything. And then of course they normally come back to me, Mike. But I'm gonna go straight up top, and I'm gonna go straight to cigar piper. So Kate,
All right,
what are your
Mike,
questions,
welcome.
bro?
I do. Yes. Thank you very much for sending us the cigars. I've truly,
You're welcome.
thoroughly enjoyed them. Not everyone sends us cigars, and from the bottom of our hearts, we really appreciate it. This
Yeah.
Connecticut, I got to say, because the guys were telling me, because I've smoked the other two, and everybody else has smoked everything else except for the one they're smoking tonight, and they said,
Right.
Kirk, you're gonna like it. And I'm the probably the lightest smoker of the group. I'm kind of a medium plus. I smoke, some Connecticut's, but this one, it's got a little bit more kick to it, and I really like it. I got some oak in there, some leather, kind of a creamy leather, and I got just enough pepper in there. And I probably want to say it's from the Pennsylvania binder on it that I'm tasting a little different, but I don't know. But something in here has got me intrigued. I like it.
It's got a double binder. If you peel that Connecticut back a little bit, you'll see the second one right underneath.
All right.
So Mikey actually blended that cigar. I'm trying to remember the exact date. He's going to get mad. It's like 10 years ago for the birth of his son.
Okay.
When his wife was pregnant, they didn't know if it was going to be a boy or girl, so he made a cigar called the Apollo Danny. If it was going to be a girl, it was going to be Danny, D-A-N-I. And if it was going to be a boy, it was going to be Apollo. Now his son's name is Justice, so so it was going to be Apollo, and his wife was like, "No."
He lost that battle.
He lost that battle. Yeah.
Yeah.
She made the bet, swearing she was having a girl. So, so I mean, he just brought it back 2 years ago, but it's the exact same blend he made for the birth of his son.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
and we've been on Half Wheels Top 25 ever since it came out. There's a size, the Corona Gorda size, actually called the Justice, named after his son.
All right. Very good. Yeah, it's very good. So my next question is, and it doesn't really. I mean, I know you just came off a PCA, but just even beyond that, because we've talked before, we like to focus on boutique brands, smaller companies, highlighting them, and we enjoy smoking their cigars. As far as the industry, we've had discussions. Do you think we're in a boutique boom here the last year or so? Or I guess what's your view on how the industry's going for the boutique cigar realm?
Well, you're always going to have the legacy brands. There's always the guys that just won't give those up. But I think boutiques are, for lack of a better word, trending. I think they're a little more popular than they used to be. At least they seem to be. So I would say maybe not necessarily a boom, but I think boutiques are popular. They give you an alternative to the regular everyday stuff that the big brands make. They're not, without insulting anybody, they're not as unique as a boutique cigar. Boutique cigars are willing to try something a little different, do a different blend or something.
Yeah.
So it gives,
Smaller
I think it
batches
gives smaller batches, limited editions. You don't hear very often that Monte Cristo comes out with a 5,000 cigar run. It's still a big number even when they say it's limited.
Right. Very good. As far as since your time with the company, do you occasionally get the chance to go down to the factory? And if you have, what's your experience? I
have not been to the factory yet. I have made that known to both brother here just recently. They're talking to other people about something, and I'm like, I still haven't been to the factory. So because we do work with Romacraft, there's a lot of stuff that Mikey does all the blending that he can do over the phone.
Right.
So he usually goes once a year. So hopefully, maybe this year, if things are going well, maybe I'll get to go this year.
Right.
I don't want to go by myself. I mean, I've traveled to China for 20 years, so it's going to be a little different than that. But I think it would be more fun with someone who's, obviously I'd be hanging around with Skip and those guys. So, I mean, not like it'd be by myself, but still, it'd be nice to have him there and watch him. I mean, Skip's going to run me through his cigar school, and I'm going to be throwing up for 3 days anyway. But it would be more fun to have the experience with Mikey, who can watch me throw up, I guess, or make sure I at least get into bed at the end of the day.
Okay, very good. I do. Before I pass it on, I do want to say one thing for all the viewers out there. That is the real Vitola in proof down there. It is not his younger brother.
Right.
Matthew used to have a beard down to
I lost about 4 pounds of beard.
Yeah. He
Did you
showed
lose a
up
bet or
last night.
something, or was it just time to rotate it off?
It was a horrible trimming accident.
Oh, that happens, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah, I didn't grow mine as long as you, but I looked like Santa Claus one year at Christmas. I mean, it got pretty thick, and that's what happens. You go to trim it, and all of a sudden, it's like, zzz, you're like, son of a bitch,
Yeah.
the whole thing comes off.
Yeah.
It's done.
My
Ain't
wife
no coming
hates
back
it.
from that one.
My wife hates it when I grow a longer beard, so I think she comes by and tries to bump me when I'm trimming the beard or something just to get me to cut it off.
I just did.
I'm really glad you're here. I'm going to pass it. Go ahead.
No. A quick little funny story. When I grew the beard and I looked like Santa Claus, we went to Universal to go see the Grinch. And, we walk up, and I wore a red shirt on purpose that night. And the Grinch sort of stopped and went, "Oh, my God, he's here." He was saying that. He goes, "That's what Santa Claus looks like if he ate right and worked out."
I wouldn't get accused of that.
I'm going to pass it on over to Grumpy now. I know he's probably going to
All right,
ask you
Grumpy.
about if it's a good time to source accessories from China or not. So, Grumpy, take it away.
It's not a good time at all. A $400 plastic cutter is kind of outrageous.
Oh, Lord. Anyway, I appreciate you being here, taking time out to come and sit with us, and
Certainly. I love doing these things.
I'm looking forward to hearing more about your PCA experience. But I've got the San Andreas tonight. This was very nice out of the cellophane. You expect that cocoa kind of coffee thing going on with
Right.
San Andreas. It has that. And a little bit of oak in there, a little earth to go with it. And once in a while, as odd as it is, and I may be hallucinating or something, I don't know. My tongue might be out of joint, but
It could happen.
it can. But now there's an occasional here, and it's getting more frequent. But tastes like a freaking malted milk ball.
We get that chocolate candy bar flavor from a lot of people.
Yeah, it's like one of those Whopper, malted milk balls.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I love those things.
Yeah,
You pop them in,
and
you suck on them until the chocolate comes off.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to decide whether you want to eat it or smoke it. So,
Right.
but it's kept a very nice burn line. And it's very well constructed. The draw is excellent. I mean, you're in for a winner here if it's not already. I hadn't seen
Thank
the
you.
stats on it, but
It's doing very well. It's been out.
it
maybe
should.
just a month and a half now. It's doing really well.
It should. It should. You've got a nice one right here. The other two were excellent too. And like I said, we told Kurt, what he would like out of the bunch, and of course we didn't miss that one too bad. Now,
we came out with that cigar because we also have a broadleaf. One of the two original blends were a broadleaf and Habano. Now,
Right.
Pennsylvania broadleaf is becoming hard to find industry wide, so we don't know when we're going to get another allocation of that. So Mikey blended that San Andreas as sort of a replacement for the broadleaf until it's
Right.
available again. So, and Mikey doesn't like San Andreas, so he blended that to not taste like a San Andreas.
well,
So that's why it's a little bit different than your regular.
It's not as well.
not as
The coffee, it's not quite as bold.
Right, edgies are the word we use, but bold would be another way to say it. Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
they're there. They're there. They're just not amplified. You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of muted through there, but you can tell what you got. And I'll give him credit. This one right here is a smoke factory, buddy. This one's
Thank
a
you.
chimney. Yeah,
Thank you very much.
this one's a chimney right here. But no, I'll put that source and products question on the shelf for a minute. What I would really like to know is if you were gonna blend something for yourself, I did read that about you.
I came out with a cigar 2 years ago called the BDP.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you about if you would care to expound on that, or is it something you care to talk about, or
Sure. I mean, it's pretty much undisclosed as far as what the blend is, but it's a
Right.
Habano. It's a Habano wrapper. I made it with Cordoba and Morales, who's a company here in Central Florida who's very popular. I've known Z from Cordoba and Morales for a very, very long time, and so when the guys asked me if I wanted to make a cigar, he was my obvious choice. It was going to be him.
right?
You know what? So he held my hand through the entire thing, and it's okay. But because of the name, I think it has sort of fallen off a little bit. BDP stands for Big Dick Palmer. So some people have a problem with the name. So
And no sense of humor, I guess.
right, exactly. I mean, in the band, there's 8 penises hidden on the band. So some people.
Shit, I need
are like,
one now.
Some people
Yeah.
were, I'm not putting his dick in my mouth. Like, that's not what it is. It's just a jokey thing. Everybody lighten up.
Really.
I
Yeah.
think we would have called it something else. It might have done better. So, we did a 10,000 stick run, and I have about a quarter of those left after 2 years. So, which, I mean, I don't care because now I smoke them. So, but,
There you go.
I hear you. But last thing, not concerning Chinese accessories, but the whole you being, you have the manufacturer experience dealing with, other countries and stuff
Right.
like that. Do you see the whole riff with U.S. China tariff thing? Do you really see that? And what kind of damage do you see that doing, over the next period of time for the cigar world?
I don't know how it's going to, I mean, because with the cigars, he did that thing where he said it's going to be 18%, just enough to get everybody riled up. Then he went, okay, it's only 10.
Yeah.
So, and still that's at a 90-day hold or something, or 90 days reevaluation or something. So people I've talked to, some people don't think it's going to stick. The cigars are going to end up being exempt for some reason or another. So we'll see what happens. But it's not, I mean, 10%, it's not there was a show last night that Steve Saka was on. He said on his cigar, it works out to about like 85 cents. So
Yeah.
if you're buying a $20 or $25 Steve Saka cigar, do you really care if it went up 85 cents? I mean, it's not a tremendous
really.
amount at that point. So
Yeah, no doubt.
it's going to be like the FDA thing. Everybody got scared years ago when the FDA was going to come in and regulate cigars, and some of the smaller companies closed up and left. It's going to be like
Right.
that again. Some people are going to get scared about the tariffs, and they'll close up, and then it'll end up going away or something. Who knows?
Right. I couldn't really understand. I mean, like Kurt said, the accessories. Yeah, I could see that.
Right.
Because a lot
Sure.
of that comes from there.
Right.
But I mean, how much of the tobacco, for the wrapper, binder, and filter, how much of that comes
Yeah,
from
none.
China?
None of that comes from China. No.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's one company, and it comes from the Great Wall. company.
I've had that Great Wall cigar when I was in China. It's
Yep.
terrible. It's a terrible cigar. It was terrible.
Good
And
to
they
know.
didn't have any accessories either. They cut it with a steak knife, so I mean it just fell apart. Like crazy.
Wow.
So I mean,
Well,
they
buddy.
sawed the end off of it. And I'm just sitting there watching, going, "It would have been easier if I
Yeah.
did that." So, thank you.
And it would have held together better.
Right. And so
Yeah.
the whole time
Well-
I'm sitting there.
Well, I do appreciate your answers, and I do again appreciate your time here with us,
Certainly.
and I do appreciate the care package, like Kurt said.
You guys
You
are
know,
so nice.
hey, lot of we don't get this we don't get this pleasure from everybody. You know,
Not like being with Cigar Coop who yells at me and stuff. So
yeah, well, see, but I like to shout out people, man, when they do us a good one. Hey, I like to give them their kudos, man, when they
who
do us a
doesn't-
turn.
who doesn't send you cigars when they do your show? I mean, that's just ridiculous.
There's been a handful.
There's
Yeah.
been a handful.
I mean, how are
Yeah,
you gonna?
and
I
then-
mean, I feel bad that he didn't get any in England, but I mean that's understandable. It would have.
Yeah.
See, we've got him a collection going though.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's at
There's a,
Kurt's
colle-
house.
there's a collection going at Kurt's house. So anyone who wants to donate cigars to
You're gonna have to.
please send it to
Yeah.
Kurt.
Kurt, you're gonna have to
But-
send him a humidor to hold all your cigars here soon.
I know. it.
Where do you get your cigars? Is it Gaz? Is that what you go by? GAZ?
Yep.
Is that how you say it?
I get him from a very reputable cigar company over here, and
Right.
it sponsors our podcast. It
Oh,
does.
nice.
And I've got a good friendship with them, and they deal with the likes, of course, of touring porters who were at PCA that signed, of course, Arturo Fuente and different ones. Of course, Brightleaf Cigars, they distribute cigars to the company, and there's a lot, and we're seeing more boutique companies that are coming.
Yeah.
Of course, Fratello Cigars is just signed to an English importer. So Fratello are going to be here now in England, which is great news because I'm going to be able to get Fratello. And yeah, normally it used to be easy to get cigars from the States. But of course, with all this new track and trace bullshit that's
Right.
coming, it's like, yeah, okay. It's,
And
it's crazy.
Have you ever met
I'm-
Omar from Fratello? He's very tall man.
But no, we haven't met him.
Very-
We're going to
very
be
tough.
hopefully sitting with him next month.
I'm in conversation with somebody that works with him, but haven't closed the deal yet.
Oh, you know,
and Mike,
there's a rumor that he's a rocket scientist. He was an accountant.
He,
found that out
he
not
worked
long
for
ago.
NASA.
He worked for NASA as an accountant.
Wow.
I always
I
thought he
mean-
was a rocket scientist, and I always called him that, and nobody ever corrected me. And then a couple of months ago, I was like, "What do you mean he's an accountant?" Yep, that's what he did.
Well, maybe he's like the Ben Affleck kind of accountant, you know, like the
Oh,
badass
no,
accountant.
he's very tall. It's very hard to hide when you're that tall. You can't really sneak up on people.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, I'll take this moment to pass it on down and let Matthew throw his questions at you. I know he's got
Sure.
several, but once again, buddy, I greatly appreciate you. Appreciate you being here.
Certainly.
And,
I'm having a great time.
Yeah, you're on for some good ones, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Does Matthew have a drinking problem? Is he the only one with the alcohol behind him?
Yep.
Well, it's not.
That's how you had the accident. You were drinking
It's not
and
a-
trimming the
it's
beard
not a
at the
problem.
same time. It's never a problem.
I
no.
prefer to call it an opportunity.
Oh, I like that. Yes.
I don't say the word problem. I say opportunity.
It's
No,
perfect. I might
There
use
you
that.
go.
no. I just really like whiskey.
Oh no,
That's why
really?
they-
Oh, okay.
That's why there's so many bottles. They're not all empty because, like an alcoholic will have two bottles and they're both 1.75 liter. You know what I mean?
Ah, gotcha.
But I would tell you what I'm drinking, but there's the bottle, blind,
Blind.
because
Oh.
this is the bottle that I'm gonna send a blind to people, and we're gonna do a special episode with. But it's a weeded whiskey. We'll leave it at that.
Until I find the bottle hidden in the house, Matthew, and then I'll know what
If
it
you
is.
do that, I'll change it all. I'll start over. I'll send another sample. The because he's in the UK, so his wife had to buy it, so she's had to hide it somewhere in the house. Hopefully, she's hidden it well. It's only a problem.
Yeah, when the glass is empty.
I only had to refill it once so far. We're good.
Already you had to refill it once?
Well, I pour very little.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's one of those fancy whiskey glasses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I try
You
to
do
be
the you do the
proper.
swirly thing. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, all that.
I'm just a
And
drinker.
the
I
English,
don't do
and the
any of that
English
stuff. I
pinky.
just-
He shoves the English pinky
Yeah,
up as
it has
well.
a-
Yeah, it has a
Yeah.
pinky out there.
I do that when I'm holding the cigar too. It's like a habit.
I know it. I can help it.
So speaking of the cigar,
Yes.
this Habano is very nice. It's got a really nice spice to it. I'm getting a little bit of leather and a really nice coffee note. I don't know if that's a normal note, but that's what I'm getting. It may be because of the whiskey. Who knows? Sometimes I find that pairing with whiskey does affect the taste of the cigar.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Sure.
So my notes are always sort of, here's what I'm getting. I don't know if anybody else is going to get this, but this is what I'm getting. But I'm really enjoying it. It is burning really well. I've only touched it up a few times, and that's mostly because I'm OCD. And
Isn't
that
that terrible? I am
has
too.
to be perfect every time.
Yeah, exactly. But now I just looked at mine. I'm gonna have to burn it. So
See, at least I'm not alone.
I'll try to resist.
And just really enjoyable cigar, and especially that Connecticut shocked me. So I was talking it up to Kurt the other day because I was like, I am not a Connecticut fan at all. And it had like that nice pepper, and I was like, "Oh, I actually like this Connecticut."
Yeah,
I
it's
might
more like a
actually have to get
medium-bodied
more.
Connecticut.
Yeah,
It's nice.
Yeah.
it's a good way to
Perfect
say
with my coffee.
it. Yeah.
Right.
Love the cigars that I've had so far. I love the branding.
Thank you.
Knowing that it's Romacraft, your logo now looks a little similar to their logo. To me,
No.
I don't know if that's on purpose.
No. That's actually during World War II. The Polish revolutionaries had a logo that they spray painted on all the walls and stuff, and it was very, very similar to the P, except the bottom of it curved on both sides, more like an anchor. So they modernized it a little bit because Greg and Mike are both Polish. They're first generation Polish immigrants. I'm turning this the wrong way. Their father was from Poland.
Yeah.
So that's where Powstanie actually means uprising.
Okay.
The reason they started the brand, I don't remember if I mentioned in the pre-show or whatever, but they have a cigar shop, and it's very close to not very close. It's 5 or 8 miles from another shop whose name I'm not going to say, but he has multiple locations in Central Florida, and he did not like that the guys were doing well. So he tried to strong-arm other brands to not sell to them.
Nice.
Like, if you sell to them, I'm not going to buy your stuff. And he's got 5 locations. We have 1. So actually now I think he might have 6. But so they made this cigar, and they were just going to make it an in-store brand. It was just going to be a house cigar type thing. They made the Habano and the Broadleaf, and they were only going to pick one. So when the story got out and the fact that who makes our cigars for us, the cigars are good. Mike and Greg did a good job blending cigars. Mikey blended the Habano, Greg blended the Broadleaf. It caught on, and it caught on quickly. So it was at one point in about 300 shops nationwide. Currently, we're probably down to a more manageable number for us, probably more around 185 to 200, somewhere in that range on any given day. So that's why the cigar came out. So then the San Andreas, the Connecticut went with the yellow, and then the San Andreas went with the red, and the Catastrophic Failure that are limited that came out end of last year did really well. We're adding that. Mikey leaked it so I can talk about it. That's going to come out as a core line item also with I think it's going to have a silver P. I just heard it. They don't tell me anything, to be honest with you. Nothing at all. The two of them don't tell me damn thing. So I have to listen when they talk to other people. So
there you go.
Awesome.
Yeah. So at dinner one night, Skip was saying how much he liked the new logo. So I sort of stopped eating and sort of leaned in a little, tried to find out. So I think they said it's silver. I think it's silver and black. You can't quote me on that, but I won't know until it gets here. I didn't even know they were bringing that back until I overheard him on the phone one day. I'm like, you son of a bitch, you don't tell me a damn thing. You would think the national sales manager should know that we're coming out with another new cigar.
Just explain to them that you are the national sales manager. You're not a mushroom. You're not a mushroom, so stop treating you like one.
You guys pay me now, so,
Yeah,
It just works out better for you.
I mean, I know a lot of people would love to have a job where they could stay in the dark and get fed crap and make good money. I know a lot of people would like a job like that, but my Lord,
Exactly.
Have to
Sounds
roam
like my dream
around.
job.
Have to roam around and be that involved and not know anything. That bitch be shoo.
Exactly. I love Grumpy.
Yeah.
Grumpy's me and Grumpy right there on the same page.
Yeah, man.
I don't remember what your
I feel
original. I
you,
don't remember
brother.
what your original question was. I'm sorry. Did I answer it?
That's
I don't.
okay. I
don't
think
know.
you did. I think you did. I was just
It
riffing anyway.
You guys have seen the show I do. I get off on tangents all the time.
is.
All good.
So-
All good. So I will ask like another question, my usual question. I like to pair cigars with whiskey, coffee, rum, occasionally a port, beer, whatever.
Right.
What's your go-to pairing for a cigar? Like the one you're smoking today.
Well, I'm drinking Crystal Light. I think what's in my my Stanley tumbler there. But normally it's water.
sugar-free Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it's water or coffee for the most part. My drinking days are behind me. It gives me terrible heartburn and acid indigestion now and stuff when I drink. So,
There you go.
Understood.
So I like ciders now, but I only have maybe one or two. It's been a long time since I've tied one on. So
Yeah, I don't really
spend
tie
the
one
next-
on anymore
Yeah,
either.
I
believe
spend
it
the
or
next
not.
3 days taking antacids, and it's just miserable. So.
Yep.
Understood. Yeah. No, I if I start to get a buzz, I have to chill. Because then next thing is I'll have a headache. So I understand.
See, I don't do hangovers. It's sort of a family thing. My dad never did. I don't. I have two sons. They don't either. They thank me for the superpower, but I always said, just wait, guys. You're going to get the heartburn and the acid indigestion. It's
Oh,
the
yeah.
worst superpower in the world.
Yeah.
Takes forever
Well,
to
it's
get
just a
drunk, and
different
then you feel
hangover,
sick
that's
the
all.
next day. Right, yeah. Well, I don't do the headache part, which is good, thank goodness.
Yeah, I get instant headache. Doesn't even wait until I go to sleep and wake up. Just hits me right away. So that came with old age too. But
Wait, how old are you? You're not that old.
I'm 43.
Yeah, so you're not that old.
Not that old.
Me and Grumpy
I
used to
look a
fight
lot
dinosaurs.
old. I look a lot younger
So,
now.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we senior citizens.
Yeah.
Come
Grumpy and
on.
I fought dinosaurs. We had to kill the Indians to get to school, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Uphill both ways in the snow.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Wait, can
uphill
we
both
call them
ways on
Indians?
broken
Can we call
glass.
them Indians still? Are they Native Americans now? Grumpy and I fought the Native Americans.
I
Well,
don't know.
a lot of history is now trying to come out and say that they were the Moors. You know,
really?
Oh.
and then they turned them into the
Oh, here we go.
Indians, and then they turned them into this and that, and you know,
Crawl back
Oh,
out of the
God.
rabbit hole, Grump. Come on.
yeah,
Get out the rabbit hole, Grump.
yeah.
Get out the rabbit hole. Get out the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
See that kind of episode.
I'm Cherokee myself, so I can't speak for all them other tribes.
I have
No,
no
I had a great
dog in that race.
I had a great grandfather. My family's from Tennessee. He was he killed a man in Kentucky over a woman, and then he went up in the Smoky Mountains and lived with the Indians. And then when the statute of limitations, whatever it was back then, was over, he came down the other side. So I don't have any Indian in me, but there is some of my family in an Indian somewhere. So
I hear you. I hear you.
right. So there's some Indian going, I'm part Palmer, So
All I know is I have a great grandmother that was full blood. So
maybe we're related. Did she like a blonde white guy?
I'm not sure.
Oh,
That was
you
back
never
in
know.
the late 18s, and there was 2 courthouse fires in Tazewell, so most of the records ended up getting burned
right.
up.
Right.
So
It happens.
yeah,
You know.
so I hit dead ends every time I try to go back on that trail.
Gotcha.
So
All right. Love it.
Yeah.
Let's see. What
else
else
you
was I
got?
gonna say? Well, I guess my other go-to question would be, I really like a medium to strong, mostly strong cigar.
Yeah.
This cigar is not quite there yet, but it's got a nice spice to it, so I like it a lot. What's your Powstanie go-to for a strong cigar?
Well, the broadleaf's probably the strongest, if you can still find them out there. We come out with a War Bear every 2 years. The next one is going to be a 5 7/8 by 60 Grand Perfecto. But because of the size, it's not as strong as normal. But our War Bear is usually the strongest cigar we've come out with.
Okay. have to look out for it. Thank you.
And that's a World War II story. There was actually a bear that the Polish army adopted during the war, and it would carry ammunition up to the line. It learned how on its own, and it could carry 2 or 3 boxes where the man could carry one. And then when they relocated by train, they actually inducted him into the army and made him a corporal, so he could travel with his unit. And then he ended up spending his later years in a zoo in Scandinavia somewhere. And the soldiers would go and show up and toss him beers and flick cigars to him. Or not cigars, but cigarettes to him, and till he eventually passed. So, but
Oh man,
yeah,
that's a great story.
yeah.
Hey.
Votek was his name, but that means war bear in Polish.
It's a great story about him. And I'm a big World War II buff. World War One, World War Two, and I read that myself about the bear and everything. And it is a great story, and even the pictures, seeing the bear,
Right.
it was a big old ass bear.
He wasn't as big as I pictured him when I saw, because he was a brown bear, not a black bear. So brown bears aren't quite as big. He was still a good sized bear, but you know, when you hear war bear, you're thinking like a grizzly or something. You know, a big giant black bear or something. But you know, still a bear. You know, that used to carry ammo boxes to the front line. So
My nickname is
amazing.
the ginger grizzly bear that I was adopted
I
from
can see
kid.
that. That makes sense. Right.
Yeah, I don't know why. Matthew,
Are you
got
a-
any more questions?
Are you a Revolutionary War buff?
Yes, yes, and
I've spent some time in England years ago, and a guy was giving me a hard time because we got beat in Korea and Vietnam, he said. And I go, well, we didn't lose the first one, though. And then he got quiet. He didn't say anything else the rest of the night.
yeah,
we just
and
bring up tea in the harbor, you know.
There you go.
Yeah,
Go
that's all
and-
we have to
go
do,
and-
and he quiets
go
right
and
down.
Go and stuff Boston.
I was a
Tea Party
big
up
fan
your
of the Queen.
arse.
I loved the Queen. I know all sorts of stuff about her. She was a tough lady.
Yes, she
I'm
was.
not a royalist. I don't follow the royals, and I'm not a royalist because
Oh, okay, well.
if you look at the royal family,
Right.
they've all got Nazi ties and German ties.
Oh,
And
don't ruin it for me, man.
marrying
boy.
your own cousin. Why would you marry your own cousin? No, but yeah,
Well,
if you're into that,
that's-
kind of stuff, then
It's a cousin. We do that in Alabama, too. So, you know. It happens
Man, I'm-
sometimes at a reunion. You see somebody, oh, she's cute. She's your cousin. How close a cousin is she?
Yeah,
How
Which
many
one?
times removed?
Right, exactly.
Oh boy.
I just want to
Guys,
say,
better watch out
with
with all your talk of royals and stuff. You might go black for a different reason.
Mhm.
my brother. I don't give no shit. But I just want to say hi, of course, to Lewis Cigars. So Lewis Cigars has said hi, of course.
What's up, Lord?
Instagram. And of course, thank you to everyone that is joining us. Of course, we have got Mike Palmer from Powstanie Cigars on. But yeah, so of course, I know the guys have been talking about the cigars and how they're enjoying the cigars. And you know something, you've only got to look at the amount of different cigars that I saw today, of course, with the War Bear, then of course with the SDC 22 that I saw, and then of course with the rest of them. I know there's the taking off, but what is this year bringing? Is there any new cigars that, of course, I already know that you said one of the cigars
Right.
that's going to be coming out. Is there any more new cigars, or are you just going to focus on the core line and then focus on, of course, the new cigar that's coming out? Have you got any more
No,
new
we've
cigars?
okay. The Bear's not going to come out till the fall, so that's going to be an 8-count box. So that's something to live for us. And like I said, it's the biggest cigar we've ever made. The SBC 24 will be coming out in about 30 days. SBC stands for Surrounded by Champions. It's Mike and Greg's little homage to the people that have helped them. They understand they didn't get to where they are without being helped by, different their group of champions, as they call us. So
Right.
they put that. So every 2 years we come out with an SBC where we change the blend but not the size. It's always a Corona Gorda. And the Bear, we never change the blend, but we change the size. So those are two cigars that come out just about every 2 years.
Cool.
The 24 comes out in 25, so that's usually the way it works. It takes a year to get it made, I guess. But the SBC this time is going to be a Mexican Habano and an Ecuadorian Connecticut Barber Pole. And we've gone. We've gone with Miami Vice colors this year.
Barber Pole.
It's always. I'm sorry.
A barber pole. I like that.
Yeah, it's always a barber pole, but it's always something different. So the band's going to be, it's sort of the sky blue SBC 24 on it. The box is always the same. It's sort of a stained oak looking thing, and then they put the SBC. They put a P on it. It'll be a blue P, and then we wrap it in a heavy duty wrapping paper. That's the color of the band. So it'll have this nice sky blue paper. It looks like a little Christmas present.
Nice. Very nice. And of course, everyone keep your eyes out for it. On, of course, reputable websites where it's going to be. Of course, we're not going to mention websites or any of that stuff because we don't want to get in trouble.
Well, they don't advertise with you, so you know.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. But
We
of
took
course,
the orders for both of them at the show, so I mean I know who's going to get them, but
Nah, 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 nah.
yeah,
You'll have to let us know after the show.
Well,
Sure.
my next question, of course, Mike, and I know we did mention when, of course, we were in contact about PCA. So, how was your time at PCA? Because I know certain things happened around PCA. Of course, there's somebody was shot at PCA around the time this PCA was going on.
There were 4 people shot.
Oh my!
Jeez.
Yeah, but that, I mean, they weren't cigar people, from what I understand. That was just something that happened in New Orleans, down around the French Quarter somewhere.
Nah.
We were down there the day before. We don't go out a lot anymore. We're usually back at the hotel by 11, 12 o'clock. You know, we'll go have dinner. You get out of the show pretty late, and then time you get cleaned up and everything, you have dinner and go back because we want to be fresh the next morning. We're not, none of us are big drinkers. So, it's dinner and then back. The only night we went out, we went to a private Espinosa event. We're really good friends with the Espinosa people. They had an event at Smoke on the Water, which I guess was a couple of streets away from where the shooting was the following night.
Jeez, that's crazy. Well,
It's a crazy town. There's nothing to do at night, it seems, but drink.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's
that's the
people
thing.
there's people stumbling around. We picked this old lady up off the floor when we were walking back to the hotel. We see her walking at us, and then she just took a header down on the ground. So we picked her up, and she's worried about her glass. She'd already spilled her drink, but she's like, "I need my glass. Where's my glass?" So we handed her empty glass when we stood her up. But that's all you see: guys holding their girlfriends up, or guys holding their buddy up. And these aren't young people. I mean, I get it, the young kids that happens, but people our ages that are there and they can't walk. I just don't get that anymore.
It's all right. It's all right, Kate. Get ready for next year when you're holding me up, my bro, because I've had too much. And I've lost my walking stick. Yep.
I better start working out.
In a wheelchair.
Yeah, he's a big boy, guys. He's going to take all of you.
Your ass is rolling in a wheelchair.
Yeah, we be putting wheels under his big butt.
The sidewalks aren't straight. You can't. They're all cockeyed and stuff. He'll get stuck.
Well,
I tripped and I wasn't even drinking and I almost fell down, but it's a sidewalk. You're not watching, and the sidewalk's got to turn like this to it. Next thing you know, people think you've been drinking.
Do you think this PCA was timed great, or do you reckon it wasn't a great time to have it when, of course, there was a festival going on in the French Quarter at the same time?
Yeah, there was that jazz festival going on. I think that added to it for most people. Who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody who went to the Grand Habano rep today. He stumbled into it, didn't know it was there. He said it was the greatest thing he's ever seen. It was in a bar, and there was no charge to get in, no cover charge or nothing. He went in, listened to music, and then got lost and went out the wrong side of the building and couldn't find his hotel. But other than that, because he said it was on a corner, so he went in one corner, didn't realize he came out the other corner, which put him on a completely different street, and he couldn't figure out where he was.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I think it added to it, and they had some great events lined up for the thing. Apparently, the opening night gala was amazing. That was sponsored by it was Dunbarton, Espinosa, 2 other companies. I don't remember what else it was. Oh, probably J.C. Newman. It's always J.C. Newman or Fuente, or maybe both of them. But I heard that was amazing. We don't go to those things. They're big crowds, and like I said, we just don't normally do that. So,
But overall. Overall, how would you say PCA was for you? Of course, we know, as you mentioned, of course, there's a company in front. You had a banner, of course. Eric couldn't find you and stuff like that. But overall, how was your time at PCA? Did you have a great time at PCA? And of course, talking to new people about Powstanie. Of course, talking to people that already knew about Powstanie, seeing friends. How was the PC environment for you this year?
It's always fun to see the people that you don't get to see on a regular basis. People that work for other companies and stuff. That's always a great time. This was the first year that I did sales for our company. Last year I was doing social media, so I got to walk around a lot more and take pictures and pose, take pictures with other people and stuff. I didn't leave the booth for 2 days unless I really had to go to the bathroom. Luckily, we were close, but we've had the most appointments at this convention than we've had at any of the other ones. We were super busy the first 2 days, which was good. We opened up a lot of new accounts, which was also good. I like New Orleans better than Vegas. Vegas is hot. It's always so hot. I like the convention center better. Normally, Vegas is it's long and narrow, where New Orleans was spread out. I like the convention center. There wasn't a problem finding a place to smoke for the most part because you can smoke out on the street. So we smoked outside of our hotel. You could smoke during the convention. So that was everybody's main concern. Is there going to be enough places to go to? Now, in Vegas, they do have, because you can smoke indoors at the casinos there, they do usually, the group grabs a bar somewhere. It's usually the Circle Bar, and you can go there after the convention, and that's where everybody wants to be seen. That's where that's where you run into people. So in New Orleans, once the show was over, at least for us, we didn't hardly see anybody. Unless they were staying at our hotel too. It's a couple people you run into when you're walking around, but not very many. So, but that was actually better because we got to bed early. So
there you go.
Which is great for me. I love that. I love getting to bed early because I don't sleep anyway. So.
Well, what do you reckon? Of course, of next year we've been back in New Orleans. Of course, it's going to be on the same time as the French Quarter have the festival, but also that's going to be happening next year in New Orleans is WrestleMania.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
WrestleMania 26 is going to be in New Orleans around the same
42.
time as PCA. Yeah, 42. WrestleMania 42.
Yeah,
oh, bro.
42.
I think
that's not my age, yeah.
There was. I'm trying to think. I think in Vegas one year there was a fight going on. There was a basketball game going on. I mean, there was 2 or 3 things going on at the same time. I guess WrestleMania will probably be at the football stadium thing, the whatever that is they have there. I'm not a sports guy, so excuse me. I don't know anything about that.
I know. Of course, just over this weekend in Vegas alone, they had over 128,000 spectators at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's just crazy there. It's always busy no matter what's going on in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The weather was great in New Orleans. It wasn't over 80 degrees, and you get that ocean breeze there, so it was never hot. It was never sticky, so that was good. I enjoyed New Orleans more than Vegas. I think next year, if the WrestleMania is there, it'll just be busy wherever WrestleMania is. The streets are always packed anyway.
Yeah, that was the thing. Of course, we're talking to a couple of friends of ours who have gone to PCA, so. Big shout out, of course, to the Leaf Cutters, who are friends of ours, and they went. And I was talking to him, and I said to him, "Oh, do you reckon it's going to be over popular?" He's like, "I'm hoping not, guys." He goes, "Because we don't want to be surrounded by people. We just want to go and do what we can do at PCA, go and have a meal, go back to the hotel." And they said they had a great time, and that's the thing. And from everyone that we've seen, of course, on Instagram, it seems it was a great time to have at PCA, and I'm glad, of course, for yourselves. You got a lot of new accounts. How did, of course, the little bag that you were giving away, how did that go around with people? Because I know you mentioned it on, of course, the Cigar Hustle podcast. Is anyone who booked an appointment, they get the bag. If they hadn't, you ain't getting a bag.
Right. There were some people that still tried to get a bag, obviously. One guy really tried, but generally speaking, they knew if they didn't have an appointment, they didn't get a bag. So it worked out well. We gave away that little sling bag with the Powstanie P on it. That actually worked out. Because of my involvement with China, I had a guy reach out the middle of last year that was making bags, and I go, "Look, guys, I've got this guy. He's making these bags. They're cheap enough because last year we did these foil bags that we put the samples in and we put the price list in. Like, what did you guys pay for those?" And they told me, I go, what if I could get you a sling bag with your logo on it for just about the same price? So that's what we did, and I think it incentivized people to make more appointments because we had more appointments. So,
That's
and
great.
some people would walk up and go, "Hey, Palmer said I could have a bag," and then I would come around the corner and go, "I did not say he could have a bag."
So, how long, of course, for anyone who hasn't seen, of course, the Cigar Hustle podcast, how long have you guys been doing the podcast for then?
7 long years.
7
Wow.
years.
Wow.
7. We still make no money. Still
Yeah.
make no money.
We know that one, my brother. We know that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. We don't take sponsors. We've had one accessory sponsor, which was a humidor, but we get asked a lot, but we don't take cigar sponsors because if your cigar is shit, we're gonna say it's shit. So we don't want to get a phone call or have anybody else go, look, I pay you, blah blah dollars. You can't say my cigar is terrible. Well, it's terrible though. I don't know what to tell you.
Really?
Yeah.
So
There you
I'm
go.
not gonna lie to you.
yeah, we're not gonna lie to these people. That's what we're known for. We say shit other people won't say.
Hmm.
So
Do you reckon from, because we've seen it as a podcast, it's basically you've got to be careful what you say on a podcast. You can't mention certain things because of either getting a ban or getting your video taken down. And we saw this, of course, on TikTok as well. Now, Instagram, of course, we know pretty much you can say what you want on Instagram.
Right.
Instagram's okay, same as Rumble. But do you reckon on certain other platforms, I'm not going to mention none, do you reckon there's some of their processes are a little bit harder on what we do with cigar content?
yeah, you have to. I'm trying to talk about it without talking about it. Okay, fine. We'll just say the name. It's YouTube. YouTube is very picky. As long as you're not selling cigars, they leave you alone. You can smoke a cigar,
Yeah.
but you can't be selling them. So that helps us because we don't have ads. So we're not trying to sell cigars. We talk about cigars as news, but that's it. Now TikTok, they'll take you down because you got a cigar in your hand.
Yeah.
I had one taken down. They said it was hate speech, and I had a cigar in my hand. Who was I hating? So
Yeah.
I did that.
I got
They gave you they give you the chance to. I can't remember what the word is. They give you a chance to dispute it.
Yeah.
So
you can
I
appeal it.
appeal. That's the word. There you go.
Yeah, you
So-
can appeal it.
Yeah, I appealed it,
Yeah.
and they put it back up. But they will suppress your video and not show it to as many people.
Right.
Yeah, within
Yeah.
seconds of me posting something on TikTok, I get a little message that says, "Oh, it's not available for the For You page because
Right.
of
You
whatever
violated
the hell."
community
It's like-
standards. I'm like, what community
Like,
standards?
I just watched a
Really?
video of somebody chugging a cast strength bourbon, and that's okay.
Right.
But me posting a cigar next to a bottle of whiskey is not okay.
There's
So.
some girl acting like it. It's a video of her blowing you, but it's just from her angle. That's okay.
Yeah.
But if I blow
Yeah.
smoke out of my mouth, I'm a terrible person.
Gaz is like, I might need to write that down.
Yeah.
At least like DAO's just built there, Instagram, Twitter, Rumble is the way to go, and that's what they're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, we started doing Rumble regularly the end of last year. So we do. Spotify doesn't really have a problem. We do Spotify creators. We put our videos up there, and they also distribute for us now because it's free. We used to use Podbean for years. And then we put a video up on YouTube, and Mikey was kind of he didn't. I usually don't smoke during the show because I'm just too busy because I do all the teleprompter reading and all that stuff. So for years I don't smoke on the show. So we have an engineer that does our camera work for us, so he cuts from camera to camera the way our system works now. And Mikey was like, if I'm smoking, don't put me on camera. But now we just gave up on that. It was just too much trouble.
Yeah, we decided when we were starting, you know what, we'll go with YouTube. We'll stay with Instagram because of things that I'd seen on Instagram with the community.
Right.
And then we just decided to go with Rumble. And to be honest with you, Rumble and Instagram is pretty good. Even YouTube's treated as good, except for a couple
You have
of
to
last
be on
videos
YouTube really
where we had to
anymore.
take it down.
Yeah, YouTube, you have to be there with the mainstream people. You just have to be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube's
And
like
that's the
being
thing.
on NBC or CBS. I mean, you have to be there.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and
That's
then
true.
Rumble's like Fox; they'll let you do anything you want, and then TikTok is PBS. You know, you can't do anything there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
I've got me other couple of questions. Pretty much simple, and I know, of course, that you've already blended a cigar. Now, this question would be, of course, three blenders you could blend a cigar with. Who would be the three blenders that you would make a cigar with?
I'd like to go through Skip Martin's tobacco school as much as it's going to make me throw up. I just think he has an amazing amount of knowledge, and I would love to do that with him. Let's see who else. It'd be fun to do one over at AJ's factory just because he's AJ, you know.
Yep.
And then Hector Alphonse at Espinosa, who blends most of their stuff. He's a real good friend of mine. I think that would just be a lot of fun to do it with Hector.
Yeah, that's cool. Three great ones there, and you know something? There's so many. There's so many, and everyone has their own unique. And of course, we had one guest on, and they said they wouldn't. They're happy with the factory where they are and blending there, and that's the thing. And we've always said, when we thought about, of course, with us bringing a cigar out, it's like, well, where do we go? Who do we look at? What do we want in the cigar? Where do we want to go with the factory? Do we want to go, of course, Nicaragua? Do we want to go Honduras? Do we want to go Dominican? Where do we want to go? And it's always that great question to get someone else's opinion of where they want to go with that. And like I say, thanks for that, Mike. Of course, for mentioning that.
Make sure it's some.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Make sure it's somebody you know. There's a lot of guys that I'd like to make a cigar, and they go over there, and it's not so much blending. It's you show up in the factory, goes, okay, here's 4 cigars. Which one do you like? And then that becomes your cigar, and then
Yep.
when you get back to America, the cigar that shows up may not be that cigar.
Yeah.
Or you find the cigars in every single cigar shop in England, and it's
Right.
Connecticut.
Right? Yeah.
And it's the
Yeah.
same
Your
cigar.
cigar is the same as another guy's cigar. You just have a different band on yours.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Right.
And we've seen that.
Yeah.
We've seen that. We have
Yeah,
seen it too many
yeah.
times, and it's crazy. Or, of course, you end up making a cigar and you use somebody else's cigar company and call it after them. And yeah, okay,
Right.
infringement right there. I'm not going to mention no names.
Uh-huh.
Well, you all know who I'm on about anyway. But yeah, I don't need to mention it. You don't go doing that. Do your due diligence. As we always say, do your due diligence. But of course, I don't know if you're into your films, Mike, and of course your music and stuff. But normally, my next question is like 5 people, famous people you would like to sit down at a dinner party smoking cigars with. Who would be your 5 guests? And it can be from anyone from music, dead or alive.
Ooh, dead or
Yeah.
alive, huh?
Yeah.
Don Rickles. I'm a big Don Rickles fan.
That'd be fun.
I think he smokes cigars. So I don't think Robin Williams smokes cigars, but he would be fun. But I don't think there'd be much smoking because you'd be laughing the whole time. Let's see who
Absolutely.
else. I can't think of his name. Iron Man. I can't think of his name. I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, with Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun too. I'm sure he's got some stories from back in the day, but he's got an amazing story how he cleaned up his life. So
Yeah.
I think that would be fun too. So that's 3. Let's think of somebody. Huey Lewis. I like Huey Lewis in the news. I think that would be fun too. So that's 4, and then one more. Either Arnold Schwarzenegger or Stallone. Those are both cigar guys.
Yep.
Stallone, I mean, he does a reality show now, so he seems like he's a regular guy, and he would be fun. But you don't know how much of that is acting or not. And then Schwarzenegger, I don't know, just because he's Schwarzenegger,
Right.
I don't know how much fun that would be, but
It would be interesting nonetheless.
right.
It would. It'd be very interesting. And it's like I said, of course, about Ozzy Osbourne. That'd be interesting because Ozzy used to smoke cigars.
Right.
And hearing about his life and music, of course, is the guy's name, and I've mentioned on previous podcasts. Ozzy Osbourne's a West Midlander. I'm a West Midlander. Ozzy, of course, came from Aston. I'm in Stoke-on-Trent. and it's about enough an hour difference in travel and where we
Right.
are. And he saw the revolution of the factories coming, of course, with
Sure.
making cars and different things, and wanted to get away from that. He didn't want to work in that 9 to 5 job. Wanted to create music, and then where he was with Black Sabbath to then his solo work to where he is now. And of course, he's coming back to England, and I think he'd be a great guest to sit there and smoke a cigar with and get that history of him. But of course,
You would understand what he's saying when he talks too, so that would be
Yeah.
that would be a plus for you.
Well, I think the guys would probably say when I've had a drink, I probably talk like Ozzy Osbourne and they can't understand me. But yeah,
Stutter about as much.
Just a little bit, he says down there. Just a smidge.
tell Matthew I love you, Tim, brother. But yeah, I could always tell him about the story, Matthew, where you were drinking the whiskey and then you went on the dearest stuff and you were walking
Yeah.
up the stairs and you're leading
Really,
on the
Matthew, you
stairs
should have
and
kept your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Touche, my brother. Touche.
Yeah. Don't give up on having that cigar with Robin Williams now. Not yet, anyway.
Oh my goodness! Back in the rabbit hole again.
Just go over on TikTok and look up Uncle Pappy.
Oh, is he not dead? Is he not dead?
That's what
Oh, jeez.
that's what Grump thinks.
Gotcha.
Just
Hey,
go on
what do you-
TikTok.
What do you think
Don't
about the? Hold on, Grumpy. What do you think about the Pope? Did you know who saw him last?
Yeah.
J.D. Vance was the last person to see him.
Yeah. Then he had a stroke.
Right. Coincidentally.
Yeah. I saw
They-
that at
they
8
had-
o'clock in
yeah,
the morning.
They
and I was
they
like,
had a
"Well,
little bit of a riff because he didn't like Trump, so you never know.
Yeah. I mean, you
Oh
know.
my God!
Right. Hey, let's cheers, Pope. You drink out of my glass, I'll drink out of yours.
Yeah, man.
Right.
But of course, I know the guys have been enjoying the cigars. So, Kurt, I'm going to go back to you. I know, of course, now you finished the Connecticut, but overall impressions of the Powstanie, Connecticut, my brother.
It's as far as Connecticut's. I put it up there. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't like smoking a Connecticut for me. It had that boldness, just enough to get into my wheelhouse. I love the spiciness of it. The leather, I got some oak, kind of I don't want maybe a sea salt, and some notes that I was picking up in there, but really enjoyed it. I wish I had another one. Oh, I'm gonna have to pick me up some.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Of course,
Yeah,
I'll go down to
The first one's always
Yeah.
free. After that, you got to pay for it.
That's right.
I'll go down to Matthew and get Matthew's take on the Habano because I've just seen this Grumpy, of course, is still smoking the San Andreas.
Yeah.
But Matthew, of course, you on the Habano. What's your impressions of the Habano, my brother?
Well, I smoked it to about that much, if that tells you anything.
Jeez.
I really enjoyed it. At no point, even all the way down at the end there, did it get bitter. It had a great flavor from front to end. Great draw. Tons of smoke output. Loved it.
Thank you.
And Grumpy, you with the
Yo.
San Andreas, my brother.
Tell you what, I'm starting into that final third, and all of the flavors that I mentioned before, they're all holding steady. They are starting to amp up a little bit in this last third. You know, they're starting to come alive a little bit, but I'm just impressed with that malted milk ball thing that flies in there unexpectedly, you know, every now and again. That's just got me kind of coming back for more, you know, because you never know when that's going to show up. It's kind of intermittent, but it's very nice.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, guys. I feel bad that Gaz doesn't have one.
No, we don't.
I will when I get to the States, my brother, trust me. I will when I
Alright,
get to the States because that will be the first one. And of course, for anyone.
Do you say that every week? Do you say that your cigar will be the first one to every guy that's on?
Actually,
So,
believe
you
it
tell-
or not, I don't think he said that one.
Did you
Yeah,
tell Ricky
really.
that when Rick Rodriguez was on? Did you tell him the same thing?
no,
That might
that's
be
my
news.
notes. I'd already smoked Ricks before the guys had smoked Ricks. So,
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
yeah,
They were the booth. They were the
you-
booth next to us. So I got to see his daughter a lot during the show.
Yeah.
She is an amazing young lady that
Oh, yeah,
really
she
seems to
is.
know what she's doing. And I told him
Yes,
that on
I-
social media the other day. She
Yeah.
she
There you go.
was there putting the booth up. She was one of the last people to leave when they took it down. She's a hardworking young lady.
She is, and when I spoke to Rick, I spoke to Rick at last year's PCA. We were in
Yeah.
contact. Me and Kurt sat on the phone with him, and geez, when we were on the phone with him, it felt like we'd known the guy for years. He was just talking, and he came on, and we also voted for, of course, the West Ham Paredes Boutique Cigar of the Year last year, and he came on and accepted
In
the
our
award.
list.
Yeah, and it was great. He's a great guy, and I was so fortunate enough that when these cigars hit the UK, the guys hadn't, and I smoked them, and I was like, wow, I've got a game on. We've got to talk about it. But I've just had a couple of questions in,
Okay.
and it comes from Mike, and he's put, I'm still new to the cigar game. I've smoked 6 cigars since March. I've really enjoyed my father, the judge, the Roma de Cuba so far, both are Toro sizes. Then his next part of the question, because it comes in a couple of bits. I tried to puff every min or so, but I'm getting a little bit of palate fatigue and fatigue. Finding the cigar just now is enjoyable in the final third and thereafter. Do you guys have any suggestions? And then he's just put, of course, here, or is this just part of the process? So, of course, this is open to you, Mike, and then, of course, we'll go to Kurt, Grumpy, and Matthew on this.
It is part of the process. Maybe since he just started, he should try a smaller Vitola. Go with a Robusto or a Perfecto or something a little smaller, and then work up. I mean, the Judge is a serious cigar. That's a big boy.
Yeah.
So might not
Yeah.
have been the ideal cigar to start with. It's a good cigar, no doubt, but it's a for lack of a better word, it's a big boy cigar. So he might not quite be there yet.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't start out with a heavy duty, full bodied cigar. That's usually not where you go.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'm not sure somebody has kind of taken him under their wing and kind of passed a little advice on to him,
Yeah, but don't quit. Don't
Yeah,
quit,
no,
Mike.
don't.
Keep
Definitely
going.
don't quit.
Keep
No,
going.
do not do that.
You'll
No.
find your cigar and your size and what works for you. Just
You just may need to readjust and take a different angle at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Did anybody
And,
else just see that bat that flew behind Grumpy up there? There was a bat there flew around behind him.
I did not.
Grumpy-
I did
I
not.
saw
Grumpy's
it.
got everything.
Yeah.
Grumpy's got
Yeah.
rabbits, he's got bats, he's got chickens, he's got his own Paw Patrol dogs, like Kurt with his Paw Patrol. Oh, Grumpy's
Yeah.
Grumpy's near enough got a zoo.
Yeah, that's
We're going to buy him a giraffe next week. So you can have
that's
a
one of
giraffe
my
sitting
yellow-bellied
alive.
swallows that's flying around my head.
Oh, is that what
Yeah,
it
they
was?
got a nest right up here beside my head.
Oh.
So, yeah,
Well, of
gotta get
course,
my hummingbird feeders up too.
of course, with that question that we just had, and of course with Mike being a newer cigar smoker,
Right.
this is going to go back now to you, Mike. What would you suggest out of the Powstanie line is a cigar for a newer cigar smoker to go and try out of the Powstanie line? What would you say?
The Connecticut.
want
Start
for
with
a
the
new cigar
Connecticut. The Connecticut. That's the way we designed it. The Connecticut is more for the introductory smoker, the guy that's newer to the industry or to the hobby. And then work your way up to the Habano, and then, when you're ready, hit the San Andreas.
Yeah.
So
He did put here, of course, no advice given. I picked up one day, smoked myself while drinking Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. And then
That's a
Okay.
damn good choice as a
He has-
drink.
Yes, but thanks for the advice, and no, thank you, Mike, for your question. Like I say, anytime
Hey,
you've got a
we're
question,
glad to help.
tell me.
Anytime we can help, we're glad to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
My
what we're
favorite
here
bottles
for.
is right back there.
We're here to pick everybody up in this business. We're here to pick everybody up.
I will say also, just as a little piece of advice as far as your palate fatigue when it comes to the final third, Even if you're drinking bourbon with it, get yourself some sparkling water and drink some of that along with everything. It'll
Yeah.
cleanse your palate and kind of
Yep.
refresh things for you.
Yeah, great advice there, Matthew. Great advice. So, of course, Mike, what's coming up for the Powstanie with the rest of the year and next year? Is there anything that you can reveal to us, or is there anything that's close hidden? Where do you see the rest of this year and next year going? The Powstanie.
I've done given all the secrets away. The SBC is coming out next. The War Bear is going to be in the fall, and then we're going to have the Catastrophic Failure, which is going to be called something else. I think it's just going to be called the. I don't even remember what they said it was going to be called, but it may have a silver P on it. If you see the silver P, that could be the.
There you go.
That could be it.
Yeah, because it had a CF on it before for Catastrophic Failure.
Okay.
Here we'll tell the story. The reason it has that name, Jason not Jason. I'm sorry, I just got his name wrong. Crap, I'm drawing a blank and I had it a second ago. Anyway, he probably won't hear this. The guy at the factory tried to make a War Bear. When Mikey went down to visit, he made a War Bear, not knowing that we never changed the blend on the War Bear. So it was a catastrophic failure as far as being a War Bear, but it was a really good cigar, so it came out as an LE. So
Oh,
Okay.
okay. That's a great story. Great story. It is.
I like cigars that have a story. You know, it's not just like Gurkha. I found we had a cool name, so we found a cigar.
No,
And
yeah.
now you get steak knives that come with it or a backpack. So
Ah,
I don't know.
Man.
Grumpy's our resident Gurkha fan, and yeah, we've had some conversations about Gurkha.
they're a great swag company.
Yeah.
Great swag
Oh, man.
company.
Yeah.
Steak knives, coffee cups, backpacks, hovercraft, airplanes, everything.
Condoms, no doubt, most probably.
No,
What a
you know
Gurkha
what?
on it.
Matt Booth, Room 101. Matt Booth came out with condoms 2 years ago at the PCA.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
boy.
all Matt
He
Booth's
gave
going
Room
on.
101 condoms away.
What do
Wow.
you reckon about companies that have got cigars called Velvet Pussy, Silver Pussy, Diamond Pussy?
Oh, we love
Because-
those stories because we cover them on the podcast.
Yeah, so
There
you
you
know,
go.
so you know Hunter then from Sir Louis Cigars. got 'em.
I've never met him, but I am familiar with the brand.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
he's a good bloke, Hunter is, and he's really out there with names for cigars and especially what he calls them. And yeah, I've got a pussy for everyone. I've got a diamond pussy. I've got a pink pussy. I've got this pussy, this kind of pussy, and it always reminds me of the film with George Clooney, of course, with the vampires, and the bloke sitting there, and the bloke goes, "We got Mexican pussy, we got African pussy, we got every kind of pussy," and it just reminds me of that when he goes on about the cigars. It always floods back that image of that film, and
Just
it's always a good time. It is.
shot the family rating all to hell.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gas.
We always.
It took
shot
a little
the
while,
family
but he
rating.
dumped it in the trash, didn't he?
But of course, a little bit of legal notice. Please be over the age of 21 in the United States to enjoy a cigar. And if you're drinking, please be over the age of 21. If you're in England, please be over the age of 18. And also over the age of 18 to drink in the UK. But final couple of questions, Mark, before we wrap up.
Sure.
Of course, because I know you probably got other stuff to do with the wife and everything. What do you reckon on the whole front of the track and trace system that's going to be hitting the UK, and with the cigar companies now doing track and trace? What do you reckon on that? Do you reckon it's going to impact some of the smaller boutique companies, and is the legacy brands are going to be all right, or do you reckon they're going to able to do it?
What
do you
is it? What is track and trace? I'm not familiar.
So track and trace is going to be basically a passport system, and the passport
Right.
system will be it will show the factory where the cigar's made,
Okay.
to the warehouse where it goes, from the warehouse to the importer, from the importer to the shop, and then of course the shop can sell the cigar.
Right.
It's basically a way of saying the destination of where it's coming from. It's not coming on the black market route. It's coming through the right channel.
Oh,
Of course,
that
it's
sounds
going to
good.
involve a bit more money into it. But what do
Yeah.
you reckon
Oh,
on
that's a
that? Do
big
you reckon
part.
it's a good thing, or do you reckon it's a bad
I
thing?
don't know.
Or what's going on?
Don't we have that in America now? Some of the cigars put what's called shelf talkers. They put little cards up, and it says, the name of the factory. It says the blend and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So the purveyor at the shop, at least in America, should be able to answer all those questions anyway. So
Right.
so is this a passport that I would carry with me, or is it something I scan when I get there?
It's basically going to have a scan code, and it's going to be from factory to warehouse, from warehouse, of course. to
Like
the
a chain
importer,
of custody system.
to the shop.
Yeah, is it going to
Yeah,
track? It'll be like a number on the box I buy, and it'll say
Yep.
where it's.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, it'd be a
What-
chain of custody type system.
Right, like it's
Follows it
evidence
all.
in a
Follows
crime
it
scene or
every
something.
step of the way from import into the country, all the way to the shop where it gets sold out of. It
It's
it,
bla-
it follows it every step of the way.
Black market must be a big problem for you guys, huh?
Black marketers. We've got the biggest black market for cigars, going to the point. I know someone. I'm not going to mention his name.
No,
But he
come on,
bring-
mention his name. Who is he?
Yeah.
This is how you
I'm not
get
gonna do
bigger.
it.
You'd say names.
I'm not going to do it because I buy cigars from him.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Never mind.
But yeah, and he brings in a lot of Cuban cigars, and
Oh, knockoff Cubans? Yeah, we have a problem with that here too.
these are legit Cubans, and
Right.
he's getting them from Spain, Bulgaria, from them countries because he's got friends and family that live there, and they're shipping
they-
them to him.
Are they
But the cheaper
counterfeiting like AJ Fernandez cigars or something?
No, what it is, it's having the cigars coming from the States and not declaring them. So basically saying there's the
Oh.
religious artifacts or the sex toys
Right,
or
right.
the socks and getting away with that. And of course, it doesn't get scanned if it's religious artifacts by customs. They let
Right.
it go through. And that's where, of course, you're getting the black market. Then the importers are kicking off because, oh, you brought in this AJ line and we haven't got this AJ line, or you're bringing in this Arturo went in, we haven't got this in. It's basically so the importer can control the whole market. They don't like cigars coming in the other way. They want
No,
to
of course
control
not.
it so they can, of course, bring. But in my eyes, some of the importers over here, yeah, okay, they know the stuff, but when they're looking at the God aficionado, and that's what I think of them, and reading their reviews, they ain't bringing in cigars that other people want to smoke. And
Yeah,
one of them at the moment is Drew Estate the Blackened. I want to do for you in the UK because I like the cigar. I'm a big Metallica fan.
Oh, it's a
The
terrible
importer
cigar.
won't-
It's
The
terrible.
importer,
I'm sorry. I said that out loud. I'm sorry. I apologize. It does
Mark.
not fit my personal palate. I do
There
not
you go.
enjoy that cigar.
it doesn't fit Kurtz. And
Yeah,
Grumpy had a
Is that the
deadly
Connecticut
nicotine
and
rush.
the other one too? You like both of them?
I've only had. Of
He hasn't had
course,
it.
bro, I haven't had it. The
Oh, you haven't had any
the
of them.
Connecticut. No, I have had the main
Oh.
blackened, the M81.
Oh, okay. The first one, right?
M81.
Yeah, M81, not the shade. And
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one. But of course, Kurt and Grumpy had both back to back one night. And yeah, Grumpy was
About died.
white as his sheet and about to die with deadly nicotine rush.
Oh.
That was a great night. It was.
Yeah, it was.
They're going,
Yeah,
Oh,
great night for everybody but Grumpy.
Yeah.
Just to give you an
Yeah,
example, Mike.
Yeah.
So like in the past, if I wanted to send Gaz a care package with say 10 cigars in there, and if
Sure.
I declared them that they were cigars, normally in the past he would just have to pay the customs and duties on them, and they would go through no problem. But
Right.
now you can't even do that; they will be destroyed. Even if I
Yeah.
declare
Oh,
them
because
as
they
cigars.
can't be tracked.
And
Yep.
they'll still charge him for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still charging
Wait,
for
he's
it.
still charging, but he doesn't get them?
Yeah.
If you don't pay him, do you go to British prison or whatever they call it over there?
My mother-in-law had a letter through and said that if she was bringing cigars into this country again, they're not the right way, then she would face jail time. And that was my mother-in-law.
Wow.
Well,
Because they got sent to her. Not
Now
him.
I'm not a fan of this program.
yeah.
It's crazy because I can come to the States and I can bring 50 cigars back.
Right?
No problem. I can bring 50 back in my suitcase. No problem.
Personal
Don't have to pay
consumption.
labor.
So 50
Yep.
is the number though. They figure that's
Yeah,
a
50.
number where you're just smoking, you're not selling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
how they came up with that number, I do not know. But 50.
Yeah, yeah.
I
they
can
come
bring
with that
six-
number.
But I can bring cigars in. I can bring Cubans in as
Right.
long as they're not bandied. Yeah. So there's the other process, but there's a lot of stuff, and to be honest with you, it's still in the baby kind of route of it. We knew this was coming way back around lockdown. This they're on about the track and trace system.
Right.
It's now coming into effect, but a lot of the shops over here have been told whatever stock you've got now, you need to sell and get rid of, because the next line of stock that you get is going to be the track and trace system. And it's also a way for our government to keep an eye on it, basically to check where it's coming. Of course, everything's being paid with the customs charges, the
Sure.
importation charges, you name it. It's one of the biggest cons for the government going in England,
Oh, sure.
as far as I'm concerned. And
It
it's
seems
a
like
lot
an
of money to
extreme
put in.
way to fix a problem.
Yeah. Overkill.
Yeah, a little bit of an overkill. What if you had 51 cigars? Did they just take the one, or do they take all 50?
I don't
I'm
know.
sorry, I overthink everything. I'm trying to figure out how I get
Don't-
52 cigars in.
Don't play that game, Gaz. You'll get
It's something I don't know, but I know from a couple that I was talking to a couple of weeks ago. They used to live out in Texas, and their
Right.
friend lived in the UK. He brought cigars from a website, and basically he put a 10 back in, so he had 60 cigars.
Uh-oh.
They couldn't bring 60 back, so of course what they did, they brought the 50, given the 50. Their daughter was due to come back to England, and she brought the other 10 back.
Yeah,
And
sure. That makes sense.
of course, if I brought the wife, she could bring 50 back, and I could bring 50 back. So there's
Right.
100 cigars.
Right.
By the
Except
time
your
I get over
mother-in-law.
to this-
Your mother-in-law is not allowed to bring them back anymore. There's a
that's the
picture of
sort- I
her
think
at the
that's the sort-
airport.
I think that's the
Looking
sort of subject with the mother-in-law. I think she'd try and off me, the mother-in-law. would.
Do you like your mother-in-law?
Oh yeah, my mother-in-law is the best mother-in-law I've ever had, and it's only because the wife's. in the
Wait,
other
how
room.
many have you had? You
I
did
started
this
saying
one.
one's in the room somewhere.
I've had
I
two.
was gonna say,
and
slide. Put 10 cigars in her purse and don't tell her. See what happens.
the last mother-in-law was an absolute evil woman, and she's been an evil woman where my children are concerned. But my new mother-in-law is one of the best, and I've got to admit, she is one of the best. And my wife's a really good wife. She is.
Good for you.
Now you got it on recording, so you can play it for her.
Right, play it. Yeah, next time she gets mad, go, did you see the episode with Palmer? I said you were very nice.
She can hear me. She can hear me. The wife can. She's in the other room.
Oh, she's right in
She
the other
knows what
room?
I'm saying.
We all think you're great. I did, she heard that too. He's been
But
telling me
no,
how great you are for weeks.
But Mike, you know something? It's been an absolute pleasure sitting down with you tonight. You know
Thanks, guys.
something?
I've had a great time too.
It's been great to have you. And everyone, go and
Yeah.
check out, of course, on YouTube, a Cigar Hustlers podcast with Mike. Go and check it out. Great podcast. Like what we do, but different. And it's really funny. Trust me, if you want to watch it, you're in for a laugh with the subjects that they talk about. With how Mike is,
Thank you.
of course, the other Mike. It's really great. And I watch it.
We
And
like
I
to keep
absolutely
it easy,
enjoy
so we both have the same name, so that way nobody gets confused.
Yeah, two
Yeah.
Mikes. Mike
Just
and
the two
Mike.
Mike and Mike.
Yeah.
Can't call it Mike and Mike because the ESPN show that used to be on. But
Oh, our production company is called Mike and Mike Productions.
nice.
No, there you go.
And I tell you what, if
Love
you
it.
guys make me Cigar of the Year, I'll come back on and accept the award too. And send more cigars. Did Ricky send cigars? Is he the one who didn't send cigars? Was that
So,
him? It was him, wasn't it? It was him.
No, he sent cigars, but
No, he's them.
All right, all right.
We had that whole lineup.
The red, the black, and the white.
Yeah,
And the circle of life before
and the circle of life
came out.
before it had a band on it.
yeah,
Yep.
the original.
Ah,
Yeah,
good deal.
very fortunate, and you know something, being very fortunate with a lot of companies, and we
Yes.
always appreciate whatever we get. And like I say again, Mark, thank you very much for the care packages that you sent out.
Certainly, guys. This has been a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, yes,
You
definitely.
guys have a
Thanks for
great show
coming.
here. It's very funny.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Much
thank you.
appreciated. It is. And by all means, of course, we'll have to get you back on again, Mike. When
Absolutely.
Anytime you
New
guys
cigars
want.
come
Yeah,
out,
when something new
and-
comes out, I'll reach out again.
Yeah, most
Absolutely.
definitely, and we'll keep in contact. And like I say, we have been, of course, with Mike tonight, and Mike is the national sales manager for Powstanie Cigars. Of course, the guys have been enjoying them, and thank you for a great show. As everyone knows from me, at the end of the show, I always say stay smoky. Kurt?
Again, Mike, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you. We've been looking forward to this for a while. Whenever we get cigars, I'm like the first one that burns through them. But I've been having this the Connecticut. I had to sit on it for a little bit, but it was well worth the wait. Just great having you. Thanks again, and until next week, smoke them if you got them. Matthew?
Mike, again, like they said, thank you for coming on. Thanks for the great cigars. I still actually have the San Andreas in there to smoke, so I'm going to do that probably in the next couple of days. You'll see a video pop up, and I'll tag you.
Perfect.
But cheers, everybody, and don't start none, won't be none.
And we know where we're going now, our resident grumpy creature. So go on, Grump.
But I appreciate you being here. Everything that's been said, can't say enough. Don't know what else I could say. This has been an excellent cigar. Come back and see us and be looking forward to it. Enjoyed every minute of it. And like I always tell them, I love y'all and Jesus loves y'all. But if he's not driving the bus, pull over, get out the driver's seat, let him take over. He does better than we do. Till you catch me the next time. So Grump. Later.
Of course, next week we are not live, so it's going to be a recorded video. So make sure to keep your eyes open. It's going to be the review on The Circle of Life, of course, by Ricky Rodriguez from West Tampa. So keep your eyes open for that, because this one's going to a cigar and stories night, and sitting around an open fire, smoking cigars with some great guys, and of course we'll be getting with the seat at the table guys, and keep your eyes out for that, because I will be bringing some of the content from that as well coming live. But for us, thank you again, Mike, for joining us tonight. Everyone, stay smoky,
thank you.
Enjoy, and we'll catch you on the next one. Enjoy.
From the depths of the internet, my podcast did arise. A trio of loons with cigars in their eyes. They've invaded the world with their smoky surprise. The Cigar Loons, they're oh so wise. Lunatic invaders of the cigar world, spreading smoke and laughter, their stories unfold. From the finest lips to the wildest tales, the Cigar Loons never fail to prevail. With their witty banter and infectious glee, they've captured hearts, you see. They're more than just smokers, they're a family, united by cigars, a brotherhood free. Invaders of the cigar world, spreading smoke and laughter, their stories unfold. From the finest lips to the wildest tales, the Cigar Loons never fail to prevail. They've got the romance, the passion, the flair, a podcast powerhouse beyond compare. So light up a stogie and join the affair. The Cigar Loons are always there. Lunatic invaders of the cigar world, spreading smoke and laughter, their stories unfold. From the finest lips to the wildest tales, the Cigar Loons never fail to prevail.